Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this public hearing regarding Lackawanna city budget. On behalf of the city council, we'd like to welcome all of you here. Mayor Annette Iafallo, thank you very much for attending. We appreciate your being here together with the various department heads. And just a recognition of two longtime Lackawanna public servants. We have Jack Wojneski, who was a former city council member, and Diane Kozak, a former school board trustee, both lifelong, longtime advocates for the city of Lackawanna. Thank you for being here. My name is Frederick Morano. I am the city council president for the city of Lackawanna. The purpose of this public hearing is for the city council to obtain information regarding the 2026-2027 revised proposed budget and allow members of the public to comment on same. All those in attendance are requested to register at the front of the room by signing the sign-in sheet. If you have not already done so, please indicate your desire to speak. After this brief introduction, City Controller Jacqueline Dole will explain the changes in the revised proposed budget, including highlights and the impact of the unified tax rate. Following Ms. Dole's comments, City Council members are free to ask questions, which will be followed by a public comment period. A vote on the budget will take place following the public comment period. Members of the public are reminded that each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Please note that the purpose of this public hearing is to receive comments from the public. It is not a question and answer session, and members of the city council and the administration will not be responding to questions or engaging in debate with members of the public. We ask everyone present to conduct themselves in a respectful and orderly manner so that all who wish to be heard have an opportunity to speak. At this time, I will turn this matter over to the city controller, Jacqueline. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Council President. Good afternoon. I began my position as the city comptroller in March of 2025, so just a little bit over a year ago. And for those of you who are not aware, I was born in Lackawanna. I grew up in Bethlehem Park. My dad worked at the steel plant until he became disabled, and my mom worked in the office of Our Lady of Victory Grammar School for over 25 years. I graduated from Lackawanna Senior High School in 1982, and in 1986, I graduated from St. Bonaventure University. And I actually studied for my CPA exam at the Lackawanna Library, just down the street. My mom lived in Bethlehem Park until she passed just a few years ago. I feel a sense of community, and I am invested in the city of Lackawanna. I was completely devastated when my church, St. Anthony's, closed, and I attended the final mass that was celebrated. In regards to the city of Lackawanna, I just want to clarify a few items related to the comptroller's office. The office of the New York State Comptroller, the OSC, requires every city in New York State to undergo an annual financial audit conducted by an independent public external auditor. The OSC sets specific parameters for this requirement. So, amongst other things, we have to file an annual financial report known as an AFR. Under general municipal law, the chief fiscal officer of every municipal corporation must file an annual financial report with the state comptroller. This report includes revenues, expenditures, cash reserves, and fund balance. There's an AFR portal for the filing, and this report is due to the Office of the State Comptroller no later than November 30th of each year for the city of Lackawanna. There's also a federal single audit that is due to the Office of the State Comptroller. If a city expends $1 million or more of federally awarded funds, it is additionally required by law to have a federal single audit conducted by an independent external auditor. The comprehensive external financial statements and accompanying independent auditor's report are also submitted to the Office of the State Comptroller each year. As such, all of these requirements were submitted timely to the Office of the State Comptroller. Included in the external financial statements is an independent auditor's report, and this report is on the audit of the financial statements. In the independent auditor's opinion, and I'm going to read off of our independent financial report and our financial statements received by our independent auditors, we have audited the accompanying financial statements of the governmental activities of each major fund and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city of Lackawanna, New York, the city. As of and for the year ended July 31st, 2025, and the related notes to the financial statements, which collectively comprise the city's basic financial statements as listed in the table of contents. In our opinion, the opinion of the outside independent accountants, the financial statements referred to above present fairly, in all material respects, the respective financial position of the governmental activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the city as of July 31st, 2025, and the respective changes in the financial position, and where applicable, cash flows thereof for the year then ended, in accordance with the accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Basis for opinion, we conducted our audit in accordance with the auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America and the standards applicable to the financial audits contained in the governmental auditing standards issued by the Comptroller General of the United States. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements sections of our report. We are required to be independent of the city and to meet our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the relevant ethical requirements related to our audit. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide the basis of our audit opinion. Regarding the supplemental information, our audit was conducted for the purpose of forming opinions on the financial statements that collectively comprise the city's basic financial statements. The accompanying schedule of expenditures of federal awards, as required by Title II U.S. Code of the Federal Regulations, Part 200, Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements for Audit Awards, is presented for the purpose of additional analysis and is not required part of the basic financial statement. Such information is responsibility of the management and was derived from and relates directly to the underlying accounting and other records used to prepare the basic financial statements. The information has been subjected to auditing procedures applied in the audit of the basic financial statements and certain additional procedures, including comparing and reconciling such information directly to the underlying accounting and records used to prepare the basic financial statements or the basic financial statements themselves, and other additional procedures in accordance with the generally accepted auditing standards. In our opinion, the schedule of expenditures of federal awards is fairly stated in all material respects in relation to the basic financial statements as a whole. There was a report on the compliance for each major federal program, opinion on each. We have audited the city of Lackawanna, New York's the city, compliance with the types of compliance requirements identified as subject to audit in the OMB compliance supplement that could have a direct and material effect on the city's major federal program for the year ended July 31st, 2025. The city's major federal program is identified in the summary of auditor's results section of the accompanying schedule of the findings and questions cost. In our opinion, the city complied in all material respects with the types of compliance requirements referred to above and could have a direct and material effect on major federal programs for the year ended July 31st, 2025. City of Lackawanna, New York, status of prior year findings. This is in relation to 2024. The city did not file their AFR with the Office of the New York State Comptroller within the time frame required. It was filed, but it was not filed timely in 2024. The status. The city submitted the AFR to the OSC before the filing deadline for the year ended July 31st, 2025, and that finding has since been resolved. The city of Lackawanna received a clean opinion. A clean opinion, which is officially known as an unmodified or an unqualified opinion, is the best possible result a city or an organization can get from an independent auditor. In simple terms, it means your financial records are accurate, honest, and follow the standard rules. What a clean opinion means, the numbers are trustworthy. You can rely on the report to see exactly how much money came in and how much money went out. No major errors. The records do not contain big mistakes, missing data, or intentional distortions, which are known as material misstatements. Rules were followed. The city followed standard government accounting laws and all regulations. And for this upcoming year ended July 31st, 2026, I expect the same findings. I expect the same opinion. They will be filed, all reports will be filed on time with the Office of the State Comptroller. The state keeps watch. The Office of the New York State Comptroller, the OSC, actively monitors our annual submissions to ensure compliance. On March 20th, 2026, Moody's Ratings has assigned the city of Lackawanna an A1 credit rating. According to Moody's rating, an A1 rating indicates that our municipal obligations are upper medium grade with very low credit risk. The strong rating serves as an independent third-party validation that Lackawanna is in stable financial position today. The rating proves stability. Moody's A1 rating means independent global experts look at Lackawanna's books and see a stable, low-risk city. In regards to the 2026-2027 mayor's proposed budget, we fully understand that no resident wants a property tax increase. However, maintaining a 0% tax freeze is financially unsustainable if we want to keep the city of Lackawanna safely operational. The vast majority of our municipal budget is strictly consumed by fixed, legal binding, and unavoidable costs. Emergency services, retaining our vital public service and safety personnel and first responders. State mandates, funding employees' pensions dictated entirely by New York State requirements. Workforce stability, honoring existing personnel labor contracts and necessary benefit agreements. Fixed overhead, covering rising health insurance premiums and property insurance policies. Daily operations, paying for essential facility, utilities, and emergency vehicle fuel. Infrastructure upkeep, purchasing heavily inflated raw materials like road salt and asphalt. These foundational expenses climb every single year due to aggressive inflation and external state mandates. When city revenue remains completely flat, while these fixed bills surge forward, the city faces a mathematically undeniable deficit that cannot be ignored. To prevent an even larger financial burden to our taxpayer, the city is drawing $3.2 million from our unassigned fund balance. We are able to limit the remaining budget gap to a 4.88% property adjustment. Preventing a Buffalo-style fiscal crisis. We do not have to look far to see what happens when a city avoids making responsible adjustments and ignores rising fixed costs. Our neighbors in the city of Buffalo just approved an aggressive 19% property tax increase, even after receiving $40 million in emergency state aid to rescue them from a massive structural budget deficit. Buffalo is facing a massive fiscal reckoning because they did not act incrementally. If Lackawanna adopts a 0% tax freeze today while fixed costs climb, we will rapidly deplete our savings, destroy our credit score, and set ourselves up for a massive double-digit tax shock down the road. Our modest 4.88% adjustment is designed explicitly to prevent a Buffalo-style crisis. It ensures Lackawanna remains structurally independent, fiscally stable, and completely self-reliant. Additionally, the Office of the New York State Comptroller warns local governments that keeping tax rates artificially flat while operating expenses rise creates a structural budget deficit. The OSC's standard financial guidelines explicitly discourages municipalities from freezing tax rates through irresponsible short-term fixes. Structural imbalances versus one-time fixes. The OSC, the Office of the State Comptroller, dictates that a property managed local budget must be structurally balanced. This means recurring expenditures like salaries, utilities, and debt service must be funded by recurring revenues like property taxes and sales taxes. When a city freezes taxes while fixed costs rise, it creates a structural gap. Freezing rates forces the city to rely on one-time revenue infusions. which the OSC, the Office of State Comptroller, flags as dangerous and short-term budgeting practices. The consequences of artificial freezes. According to the OSC municipal training modules, avoiding small incremental tax adjustments to stay flat usually results in a fiscal cliff. When the savings are completely exhausted, the city is forced into an emergency situation. This leads to either severe cuts to essential personnel, to public service, a massive double-digit tax spike down the road to catch up with the years of inflation if we ignore them today. Regarding the proposed 26-27 budget, assuming an assessed property value of $175,000, the proposed unified city tax rate would increase, a taxpayer increase would be $154 annually, or $12.83 per month in this proposed budgets. Some of the highlights of the proposed budget. The total budget is $38,225,450. It brings up the unified tax rate to 18.98. The city's expenses increased by $2.49 million from prior fiscal years, which is offset by $1.84 million in projected revenues, other than by taxes and appropriated fund balance. And as I stated previously, we do have expenses that do increase, and I do have a chart that shows percentage-wise. In the biggest percentage, 34.1% is undistributed expenses, including healthcare, New York State retirement, and workers' compensation increases. The next highest is debt service, followed by utilities, police and fire services, the new contracted rates. Then on to special items which include commercial insurance, personnel costs, labor contract negotiations, maintenance of streets, and all other nominal amounts as well. Again, an appropriated fund balance of $3.261 million is being utilized. And last year, $2.981 million was appropriated from the fund balance. Thank you.
Thank you, Comptroller Doe. I will now open it up to the City Council for any questions or comments. Anyone have any questions or any comments on the mayor's revised proposed plan?
Yeah, I do. I have lots of questions. And well, not lots of questions, but a lot of concern. Let me start off with reading a email I sent to some of our elected officials, our controller, and our city attorney last week, Thursday morning. It's just to show my position. Understand a substantial rise in healthcare costs.
Sorry, Council's writing the phone, just like they can't hear you, so don't keep nothing up. In the back, they're saying they can't hear you, so you
Can't hear you. How they hear her?
I don't know.
You gotta say that, really? Really? You had to say that?
What?
As a government employee, how did you hear her? Really? You had to say that?
No, I mean, I'm hard of hearing, so.
Huh?
What are you talking about? I know you're on the phone.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay, Kevin.
You hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. No, I'm saying, how do you hear the controller? I couldn't hear.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I understand a substantial rise in healthcare costs, utility costs.
Put a microphone there, Kevin,
Huh?
so everybody,
No money in the budget.
well, you gotta go,
What's going on?
if you know where to look, you'll find this. I'll be like Andrew Show. Show me where you can find it and I'll get it for you.
Please continue.
I understand a substantial rise in healthcare costs, utility costs, and 3 out of 4 unions that have scheduled salary increases coming up this budget year, which has driven up expenses up. I also noticed a significant bump in the sales tax for the county, 264,000, and New York State revenue other aid, $1,455,412 increase in state aid from New York State. They passed the budget and this is the increase we have. Buffalo got 55 million, so on and so on. Those reasons, I do not think this is the best time to add additions to the budget. I'm interested in saving to the budget and taxpayers. And I asked different questions, which I'm not gonna go into now. And one of my questions was, could you please provide the amount this budget would need to be reduced by to get under the cap? I'm pretty sure that was my idea, but. Okay. Then I have a few questions for our controller, nothing crazy. You know, the page 6 with the state aid,
In the budget.
line 1 is state aid, $6,309,821 state aid. We've been getting that for the last 20 years or whatever. It's called AIM money, right? Am I right, controller?
Correct,
Okay. Well, we've been getting that quite a while,
correct.
but line 3089, state aid other.
Yes,
Last year we had 732,706, which is an added bonus from the state. Well, that was great. This year, that line includes that 732,000 plus another $1,465,412, which I just mentioned in my email.
correct.
So I guess one of my questions is, you know, or one of my concerns is if that money next year disappears, you know, we're gonna be in a big hole, like that. You know. My next is question is the controller is healthcare. I mean, every time an employee gets hired or our current employees, healthcare is a big issue, along with New York State retirement, FICA, which we all used to pay 7.65% of your pay, and overtime. FICA, the employer pays 7.165, and the employee pays 7.65. Workers' comp. I mean, our healthcare is out of balance. It's close to $50,000 an employee for a family coverage. And I don't even know what the single is. I asked about the single, I never got an answer, so. It's not just the positions, it's the benefits, you know that, right? And it's like a one-time election year bonus from the state. The state, governor wanted it, assembly people are all running for re-election. So there was no guarantee that we're gonna get that money next year. That's a major concern. Future healthcare costs are a major increase too. Major concern. Yeah, one more thing about the healthcare. Excuse me, 1 second. I mean, 2 years ago, the healthcare went up 45%. I think last year it went up 18%, and we figured that too. In this year's budget, so it's only budgeted for an increase of 4.46%. I've been on this council 10 years. The lowest it's ever been 7%. And obviously the highest it's been is 45%. So that's a major concern. The elephant in the room, so, which I thought was going to be addressed. A few reduction of the total assessment. Total assessment went from 777 million down to 761 million . That's 16 million dollars. obviously that reduction in the tax base caused all of us. It's tossed down to all of us. Am I correct?
So can I address
Sure.
the health insurance?
Yeah.
So in regards to the health insurance, yes, we did last year. There was a very large increase in the health insurance, and under the current health insurance, we were going to face another 30% increase. And I said that that was unsustainable to be able to have another 30% increase. And so there was a group of us that worked, and we ended up actually changing carriers. And we left Highmark and we're with Univera now. And we were able to minimize the increase in the health insurance this year.
Just this year we switched?
Yes.
Oh, that would be nice to know. I didn't know that.
Well, that was discussed at a city council meeting, because I did put on
It
the,
was talked about, but.
no, I put it on the agenda because the council had to approve the mayor signing the contract.
Oh,
So we
okay.
did review it.
All right, I didn't realize it was only.
Yes, I did. I acknowledged the fact that it was going to increase another 30%. And I said that is unsustainable by the city of Lackawanna. And we pursued many avenues, and that took many months. And we were able to change our carrier. Okay, and then-
Like all things, they give you the low rate, and next year, once they suck you in. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think, Ari, you were going to address that. Were you going to?
Yeah, council member, the city assessor unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but I do have information about that
Yeah, I
decrease.
was gonna,
Uh,
okay.
So if you'd like, I could address that now.
Yeah, you would.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just didn't want to interrupt. So as the council member Sirdike pointed out, there was a decrease in the total taxable value throughout the city for this next budget cycle in the amount of about $15.9 million. That decrease in total taxable value throughout the city is the result of various factors. The first is Board of Assessment Review. For those of us in the room who maybe aren't as familiar with the Board of Assessment Review, it's an independent board from the assessor that is appointed under our city charter. And basically, the Board of Assessment Review is tasked every year with overseeing what we call grievance day, which is when a resident or a local business owner has an issue with their assessed value. They believe their assessed value is too high. They have the opportunity to go through an administrative hearing before the Board of Assessment Review, which is a 3-member board. And the Board of Assessment Review will kind of hear their grievance as it relates to the assessed value of their property. So a large portion of that $15 million in the decrease in the taxable value is a result of challenges made through the Board of Assessment Review with respect to commercial properties and their values. In addition, there were a few court-ordered changes made for properties or business owners who went through the court system to challenge their assessment. So that accounted for some of that amount as well. I wanted to point out that in terms of taxable value in the city, there are a couple of things that are state mandated or set by the state that the city assessor has no control over. It has nothing to do with the Board of Assessment Review. That includes telecommunications and the railroads. So we're talking millions of dollars in the decrease in the total taxable value as a result of the railroad rates set by the state and property values assessed by or against telecommunications companies. And then there were some annual adjustments as well that the assessor undertook this year. Most of them are permitting adjustment. This means that, a resident will come in and say, I added a garage to my property, or I added an addition to my property. I'd like to have you look at the assessed value of it. So as a result of that, changes were made. And that's really a high level summary of where that figure came from and the difference in the taxable value.
Yeah, I know that. They don't. And we weren't afraid of that until last week. I was never updated on that, roller.
Well, yep, I think the assessor files the roll and sends it to everyone. And if any members of the public have any questions for our assessor, his name is Michael Milks. He's great. I know he'd be happy to address any questions.
I don't think the council's up to speed on that. One more thing, concern. The New York State Retirement Tier 6. I don't know if anybody knows they passed Tier 6 are all the people that are hired after 2012, which I would imagine that's quite a few. I don't know what it is. It's gotta be more than half of our people. I would say close to 3/4. The state passed big upgrades to their retirement. And a large portion of it's more or less a state mandate coming in, starting in October, this October 26th, which is next year's budget. The cost of this is the state pays about 20%, 21%, and the local municipalities or county employees pay 80%. So that's gonna be a big jump in our pension payment. I don't see that reflected in here, in the budget. I guess that's it. My vote will reflect my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Sirdike. Anyone else, any council members have any comments or questions?
Hi, Council President. I just need clarity as far as the exact percentage,
Speak up, please.
sure. I just need clarity or actually precision, as far as the actual adjustment goes. Is it 4.88%? Is it 4.98? Is it 4.69? Percent? Because I have the, in the ordinance that we received, excuse me, it was a total of, the unified tax rate of being $18.98.
Correct.
However, with, minimal calculations, I was, confused based on the prior year at, $18.13. If we were to bump it up by 4.88%, would that take us to $19.01?
It's 18.98, and I based it on the 1810 for the purposes of the highlights to be reflective of how the budget was presented.
So it was
last
based
year.
on the 1810 and not the 1813?
For the purposes of, yes, for the purposes of the highlights.
Okay, but the actual.
Actual is 1813, yeah.
1813, so it would bump us up to $19.01
No, it stays at 1898. The percentage would change.
at the 4.88%,
Right.
even though that's based on 1810.
The 1898, the unified tax rate would stay the same. The percentage would shift to be a little bit higher at the 18.13%. 1813. So yeah,
Okay. But the,
the unified tax rate is still the 18.98.
so that is,
That is correct. Yeah,
all right, thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Councilmember Muflahi. Any other council members have any questions or comments?
I have one more thing that I forgot to bring up, please. If I may. The proposed budget, the revised budget. What was revised in the revised budget? Besides taking $400,000 more out of the general funds.
There was two slight adjustments in, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There were two slight adjustments in the fire chief and the police chief pay.
That's all the revisions that were done?
That is correct.
400,000 out of the general fund.
That is correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jean, may I have the sign of people? We're going to conclude the comments from the city council. And as was indicated both in the opening that I spoke about when we started the public hearing portion of this meeting, and as you probably reviewed and saw on the public hearing sign-in sheet, if you wanted to speak, we're supposed to put an X next to your name, and it doesn't look like we have any speakers.
I'm speaking, sir.
Did not see that on there.
Okay, you're welcome to speak.
Thank you.
I need your name.
Lynette Sikorsky. On my address? You have that on there, right? Am I good to speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, well, good evening. Yesterday, residents learned that Mira Iafallo's revised proposed budget reduced the property tax increase from 7.79% to, online it said 4.98, but I guess it's 4.88 now, through the use of nearly $400,000 in additional fund balance. The strong public response, including the resident petition and widespread community engagement, demonstrated that residents were paying attention and expected better. Residents expected meaningful reductions in spending before relying on an additional $400,000 in fund balance. Yet, the overall budget was reduced by only $3,800. The revised budget lowers the tax increase, but it does not meaningfully reduce spending. As one example, the mayor's salary would increase from $91,440 to $97,456, an increase of $6,016 or 6.58%. Inflation is currently running at approximately 2.3%. That means the mayor's salary increase is roughly 3 times the current rate of inflation. Looking at the longer-term trend, since 2020, Lackawanna's population has declined by approximately 3%. Cumulative inflation has increased approximately 26%, yet the city's budget has grown from 26.8 million to more than 38.2 million, an increase of nearly 43%. While the city serves fewer residents, spending continues to grow at a much faster rate than inflation. At this point, residents are asking a simple question: when does it stop? The budget includes more than $600,000 in annual debt payments, and many residents still do not know the full extent of the city's debt or what those obligations may mean for future budgets. I ask the council, before casting your vote tonight, I hope each member of you has thoroughly reviewed every expenditure, every proposed increase, every use of fund balance, and every decision that could impact taxpayers not only this year, but for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Diane Kozak, you wish to speak?
I don't have anything prepared, however, I would like to point out that most of the time we go through this because of lack of, foresight. You knew you weren't going to get COVID aid anymore, so the budget needed to be adjusted to eliminate that amount of money. Once you know your state aid is reducing, you have to adjust your budget in anticipation of it. My question is on your health care. Yes, you changed carriers. However, do any of its city employees or elected officials or administrators have to pay into part of their health care? They do. Yes. All right, now you'll have to revisit the percentages, which will cause they're not going to be happy campers. But that's how it was done where I was employed. And that was with the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I think you need to project, you don't start on your budget concentrating on it, honorable members, a month before it's coming up. And I know you have questions. Well, you go to the controller. If that's not satisfactory, you get off your vested attentions and you go to the employee whose position is responsible for that and ask what's going on here? Why? What you see? The people, so to speak, the grunts, the ones that have their hands on it every day and submit to the controller, the accounting, they're the ones that are going to give you the answers. They're the ones that might help you in the future to project this. And anybody who's been in the armed forces knows the grunts that make machinery work. So I would suggest that planning needs to be done on the development level. The assessor said the tax base is decreasing, which causes more of us to take up the burden, which causes the snowball effect into the percentage of the tax increase. So I haven't been here in a long time. So I don't know if the Department of Development, I saw there's a new person that's gonna be there, I think. And perhaps that part of the assessment problem could be projected into his foresight for the future of the building, in-house building. There's a few on Center Street. I haven't seen, there were some in the first ward. And after that, it stopped. There are vacant lots all over the city. They could generate more tax base. And I don't see that happening. I'm saying, don't be reactive. Be proactive.
That's.
And we won't be in this problem now.
Okay, Ms. Kozak, thank you very much for
You're
your
welcome,
comments.
Fred.
Appreciate it.
Can I say something?
But no, we're not gonna get into that.
No, I just
You've had an opportunity
wondering what
already.
the controller, what if the employees pay 50%? And just for the record, we don't get health insurance. That's all I want.
So you don't get health insurance?
No, we don't.
You used to get health insurance.
No, so.
Right, that will conclude the public comment and also conclude our public hearing. I'm going to formally call the meeting to order and request the city clerk take the roll. Thank you. We'll lead with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Laflahe?
Present.
Anderson? Megan?
Here.
Sirdike?
Present.
Morano?
Here.
Law Department? Here. Development and Marketing? Public Works?
Here.
Public Safety?
Here.
Comptroller?
Here.
Recreation? Here.
Morano moves that the mayor's budget proposal as revised be adopted. Anderson second.
What are we doing? Are we starting with the agenda item for one?
We're not, this was a suggested. We have, we don't need a tax override, so that's gonna be received and filed. I'm moving straight to the vote.
Oh. Sorry. Second. Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to receive and file. No.
Morano moves that the mayor's budget proposal as revised be adopted. Anderson second.
Sorry to ask this again, but we could just keep one more time.
Let me write it out. In fact, we don't need to do that. I'll do this. The motion on the table is made by Morano, seconded by Anderson to that the mayor's budget proposal as revised be adopted. Please take the vote.
Maflahe?
No.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Megan?
Yes.
Sirdike?
No,
Morano?
Yes.
Harry, 3-2.
In communications for mayor filed request for revocation of proposed local law to override property tax levy limit. For the new fiscal year, the revised budget is unconstitutional limit, therefore it doesn't necessitate any further action. So I just move to receive and file, and that would be the end of the action. Is there a second? Second.
Motion by Morano, second by Anderson to receive and file. Maflahe?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Sirdike?
yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.
Morano moves to adjourn. Second. Vegan second.
Motion by Morano, second by Megan to adjourn meeting. Maflahe?
Yeah.
Anderson? Megan?
Yeah.
Sirdike?
Yes.
Morano?
Yes.
Carried 5-0.